No one should enter here. But tonight I can't stop myself. Alex had always been drawn to the forgotten, the places that others avoided. So when he heard about the old Crestwood School, abandoned for over 20 years, curiosity overwhelmed caution. The locals whispered warnings, strange sounds, shadows moving behind broken windows, and the occasional scream that echoed through the empty hallways. But Alex, armed with his camera and flashlight, was determined to document it for his urban exploration channel. He wanted the thrill, the story, and the views it would bring. The school loomed ahead as night fell, its silhouette jagged against the deep purple sky. The iron gates were rusted, swinging slightly in the cold wind. Windows were shattered, some boarded, some gaping wide like eyes staring at him. A heavy silence hung in the air, broken only by the creak of old signs swaying in the breeze. Every step toward the building made the hairs on his neck rise. He could almost feel the weight of the school's history pressing down on him. Inside, the air was thick with dust and decay. Broken desks lay scattered across the hallways, papers yellowed with age and water damage littering the floors. Faded posters hung crookedly, their cheerful messages from decades ago now warped and sinister. The echoes of his footsteps seemed to stretch far longer than they should, bouncing off the walls in ways that made the school feel alive. Shadows shifted in corners, just beyond the reach of his flashlight beam. He moved down the main hallway, camera recording every detail. He could hear the faintest whisper, almost inaudible, carried by the wind, or so he hoped. A sudden crash of debris made him jump. He swung the flashlight toward it. Nothing. Just a classroom. Empty, its windows shattered, papers fluttering from a gentle draft or maybe from something unseen. Alex entered one of the classrooms. Rows of desks stood broken, chalkboards smeared with old dust, and in one corner, a single chair rocked slowly, though no one was there. A chill ran through him. He tried to rationalize it when in balance, but the sound of soft, deliberate breathing seemed to come from the shadows themselves. As he moved further, he found the stairwell leading to the second floor. The steps groaned under his weight. Halfway up, he noticed faint scratches along the walls, symbols, letters, almost like warnings. The deeper he went, the more the school seemed to close in on him. The walls stretched and twisted, hallways elongating, doors appearing where none had existed before. At the end of the hallway, a classroom door creaked open by itself. He stepped closer. Inside, the air was colder. The room smelled faintly of decay, and the walls were covered with children's drawings, smiling faces now twisted into grotesque expressions, eyes hollow, staring at him. A faint giggle echoed. Alex spun around. Empty room. He backed toward the door, but it slammed shut violently. Panic surged. He tried the handle. Locked. The shadows along the walls deepened, forming humanoid shapes. Whispers filled the room, overlapping, repeating his name. Alex, Alex, stay. Breathing fast, heart pounding, he kicked the door, and it swung open. He ran down the hallway, camera recording shakily. Each room he passed offered horrors. A library with books screaming as he touched them. A gymnasium where faint figures ran laps endlessly, faces pale and hollow-eyed, the echo of sneakers on the hardwood deafening. He stumbled into the auditorium. Broken seats, a stage coated in dust, and at the far end, a curtain moved slightly, though no breeze could reach it. From behind it, he heard faint murmuring, chanting almost overlapping voices calling names. He forced himself forward. Behind the curtain was a staircase leading to the basement, something he hadn't expected. The air grew colder, thicker, the whispers louder. In the basement, the horrors intensified. Rows of lockers stood like silent sentinels. The fluorescent lights flickered erratically. Papers rustled without wind. A single locker door opened slowly. From it, a skeletal hand reached out. Alex stumbled back, tripping over debris. The hand retreated, but he could hear faint, deliberate breathing coming from inside the lockers. He ran deeper into the basement, discovering a small storage room. Inside were old school records, photographs, and journals. One journal belonged to a teacher from decades ago. Its pages were filled with frantic writing, students disappearing, strange shadows, whispers, and warnings. One line stood out. The school feeds on curiosity. Once inside, it never lets go. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed. The basement door slammed behind him. Shadows surged, crawling along the walls, pooling like living ink. Figures emerged from every corner, pale, distorted, some dragging broken limbs, faces twisted into silent screams. The chanting grew louder, almost deafening. Alex ran toward another staircase, only to find it led to a hallway he hadn't seen before. The school had changed, walls stretching, doors appearing where none existed, hallways twisting unnaturally. Each step brought him closer to panic. Every reflection in the broken windows showed him older, paler, hollow-eyed. His own voice echoed back in whispers. Stay, stay forever. He tried to find the main exit. Each door he approached led him to a different nightmare. Classrooms with shadows moving independently. Hallways filled with flickering lights revealing glimpses of figures with hollow eyes. A cafeteria where meals rotted instantly and chairs moved as if someone unseen was sitting. Hours or perhaps minutes passed. Alex had no sense of time. The school's structure warped around him, folding reality in impossible ways. The whispers merged, chanting, calling his name, promising horrors and secrets he could barely comprehend. Desperate, he climbed the stairs again, hoping to reach the roof. When he emerged, the hallways were gone. The auditorium stood where it shouldn't, and the stage now held dozens of shadowy figures, all staring directly at him. They advanced slowly, stretching impossibly, their whispers overlapping into one deafening chant. Join us. Belong forever. Alex ran blindly, stumbling through the school's twisted halls. Each door he tried opened to a different nightmare. A classroom with desks stacked impossibly high. A library where the book's pages screamed in agony, a hallway where the floors seemed to dissolve beneath his feet. He realized with horror that the school was alive. It wasn't just abandoned, it was sentient, feeding on the fear and curiosity of those who entered. Finally, he reached the front doors. They were locked. He pushed and kicked, but the doors held firm. The windows, once broken, now glowed faintly, revealing figures moving just beyond the glass, staring silently. He turned, and the hallway behind him stretched into infinite darkness, shadows pooling along the walls, whispering, calling, promising he would never leave. In a last, desperate act, Alex sprinted back into the hallways, camera recording every step. The lights flickered violently. Mirrors and windows reflected countless versions of himself, all pale, hollow-eyed, screaming silently. Shadows reached from walls and ceilings, brushing against him, slowing him down, dragging him toward the infinite halls. He ran, stumbled, and finally collapsed in a classroom he hadn't seen before. The walls were covered in faded photographs of students, some smiling, some twisted into expressions of fear. Whispers surrounded him, chanting endlessly. His flashlight flickered one last time before dying. Total darkness enveloped him. The school was silent again. Outside, the wind rustled through the empty playground. The broken swings moved slightly, as if pushed by invisible hands. The building loomed, waiting. Locals still warned about Crestwood School. No one should enter. But sometimes late at night, those brave or foolish enough hear whispers from inside, faintly calling their names. And some never return. If this story gave you chills, like the video. Comment if you dare explore an abandoned school at night. And don't forget to subscribe for more terrifying tales that will haunt your nights.